All right, well, it's time to talk about Comic-Con. This Comic-Con segment is brought to you by AMC Theatres. As most of you know, the annual Mega Comic-Con event begins today in San Diego. And although Marvel Studios and some others won't be in attendance, a lot of major films are being represented. Panels this week will take place for films like Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad. Lucasfilm will be showcasing Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and perhaps other Star Wars films too. Fox will be there with Deadpool and Fantastic Four. Quentin Tarantinos Hateful Eight will have a panel, as well as the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 and others. John, you're leaving for Comic-Con tomorrow. What are you looking forward to the most in this movie slate?
There's so much really cool stuff. You know, it's funny because when Marvel announced that they weren't going to be there, and then I think Paramount mentioned they weren't bringing it, I think the narrative became, oh my God, nobody's going to Comic-Con anymore. And now then you sit back for a second, say, take a deep breath. Look at the films that are going to be at Comic-Con this year. And it's impressive. There's a lot of stuff there I'm personally looking forward to. The Quentin Tarantino panel. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what comes out of that Hateful Eight panel. I'm very curious to see what they do bring regards Fantastic Four, if they do bring the cast on stage, if they do some revealing, whatever. But at the end of the day for me, and I'm super excited about the Lucasfilm panel and seeing what's going to come out of there. Do they bring out a new young Han Solo? Is Harrison Ford going to show up? Will they explain a little bit more about the plans in the upcoming movies, things like that? Absolutely, I am. Super stoked. My favorite films in the world. But this Comic-Con is going to be about Batman versus Superman. When Comic-Con is done, the narrative is going to be about Batman versus Superman. Warner Brothers and DC, I think they know they have to do a better job than they did last year. Mm-hmm. Last year, they had a great opportunity to really crush it, knock it out of the park, take control of the social media buzz, and they totally blew it with, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck coming out on stage and doing a Queen Elizabeth for a second and then leave. I mean, that's basically what it was. And they totally dropped the ball. This year they know Marvel's not here. We've got the spotlight. They can crush this thing. They'll probably drop a new trailer. They'll probably give us a little bit of a sense of what is this world going to be like when the movie starts. I am fascinated. And then, there's Suicide Squad, of course. We just heard that Chris Terrio has finished the first Justice League script. Maybe give us a little bit of information about that. So while Star Wars are my favorite movies in the world and all that kind of stuff, I got to admit, the thing I'm personally looking forward to the most is hearing what comes out of these WB panels. What about you?
The stars have aligned, it appears, for the WB DC universe to knock this out of the park. I'm going to be in Hall H for all this stuff. I'm going to be hunkered down. I'm going to be there all 4 days with my Cliff Bars, my Diet Pepsi, maybe a flask. I love Star Wars. Those are my favorite movies. The news that we talked about yesterday on Jedi Council, that there is Entertainment Weekly reporting that there's not going to be a trailer or new footage shown of The Force Awakens. It tempered my excitement ever so slightly to be in that panel. But you know who could really steal this entire weekend is Fox. Because they have
absolutely.
Deadpool, they could talk about Gambit, and X-Men Apocalypse. Imagine if they showed something from X-Men Apocalypse or something from Deadpool.
And Fantastic Four.
As icing on the cake. So while I still think WBDC is positioned to have the best weekend and have the most newsworthy buzz kind of thing, 20th Century Fox could steal the show. The Hateful Eight is also something I'm looking forward to as well. And so every day that you're in Hall H, if you're probably already waiting in line, there's going to be some really good content. I would not lose any sleep over the fact that Marvel isn't showing up, because it's still going to feel like Christmas morning every day in that place.
I'm so glad you made a great point, because you're right. We're focused on Star Wars and WB. Mm-hmm. But think about it for a second, now that you brought it up. Fox has been crushing their guerrilla marketing with Deadpool. They've just slipping the little images and those little videos, like the announcement of Deadpool that he did with the reporter at the same time, which was just gold. They have been doing everything right with Deadpool. Could they be planning a huge splash at Comic-Con with Ryan? Because we know Ryan Reynolds is going to be there.
You want to tell me Ryan Reynolds isn't going to show up in a Deadpool costume? I mean, you can't get the guy out of a Deadpool costume whenever he takes a picture. So he could show up wielding swords. Ryan Reynolds is a naturally funny, charismatic guy.
Ziplining from the ceiling or something like that.
That's right. Sinead fell in love with him this past week. So I think that Ryan Reynolds, when he goes there, he's one of those personalities that can take over Hall H and get everybody buzzing about that movie.
Okay, over/under. Over/under.
I love this.
15%. The chances that Ryan Reynolds comes out on stage with his sword and a severed Darth Vader head. Over under 15%.
I'll take everything over about that except for the severed Darth Vader head. Other than that, I think you're going to see Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds, there might be a story that comes out. If you see somebody in full Deadpool costume at Comic-Con this weekend,
go
up and get a picture with him because it might actually be Ryan Reynolds.
That's true. Ever since Bryan Cranston, remember a couple years ago? Bryan Cranston walked the floor of Comic-Con in a Bryan Cranston mask.
And nobody
bothered them. And ever since then, a lot of celebrities have been doing stuff. So that's a great point. If you see a Deadpool, that might be Ryan.
It might be me, but it might also be Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Hey, just as a quick side note, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, somebody at this table just had a little romantic rendezvous with Ryan Reynolds in New York City. Mark, how was he?
Oh my God, the charm. I've been a fan of that guy ever since Two Guys, a Girl. I wanted to be the pizza place. Unfortunately, it was not me in New York this week.
No, Sinead. We sent Sinead out to New York this weekend. She just got back yesterday.
Yeah.
You went out to meet with Ryan Reynolds about another one. Just how was he? How was your chat with him?
It was good. I went for Selfless, the press day. He's wonderful. So wonderful. Yeah, he's so.
How's his skin up close?
You went to a different place there for a second when you said that.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, the movie comes out this Friday, and he is wonderful. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. He's wonderful. He's wonderful.